5.4 million years ago, we are in Africa, but it is not a world we would recognize. This is the Pliocene epoch, a time before ice ages, a time before sweeping savannas. It is a world of dense, warm jungles, and hidden within these jungles, a new lineage is taking its first tentative steps. These are not humans, not as we know them. They are our ancestors, small, vulnerable, and just beginning a journey that would one day lead to us. But they were not alone, and they were not at the top of the food chain. In this three-dimensional world of vines and canopies, death did not just stalk on the ground, it came from above. To understand this world, we must first understand its inhabitants. The humans of this period were early hominins, species like Ardipithecus. They stood perhaps 3 to 4 feet tall. They could walk on 2 legs or bipedally, but their long arms and grasping toes show they were still very much at home in the trees. Their brains were small, comparable to a modern chimpanzee's. They lived in small groups, foraging for fruit, leaves, and insects. They were, in every sense, a species caught between 2 worlds, the safety of the trees and the new opportunities on the ground. Now we must define the raptor. When we hear that word, many think of dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs, aside from birds, had been gone for 60 million years. The raptors of the Pliocene were birds, specifically birds of prey. We are talking about large, powerful eagles, ancestors of species like the modern African crowned eagle, a bird that today regularly hunts monkeys weighing over 20 pounds. These Pliocene predators would have been just as large, if not larger. They were silent, efficient hunters, equipped with stereoscopic vision far sharper than our own, and locking talons designed to crush and kill. For these early hominins, life was a constant exercise in vigilance. The forest floor offered food, but it was dangerously exposed. The canopy offered safety from ground predators, but it was the hunting domain of the eagles. Imagine a typical day. A small band of hominins forages for fallen fruit. The group provides safety. More eyes mean more chances to spot danger. The young are kept in the center or clinging to their mothers. Every crack of a twig, every shadow that moves is a potential threat. The primary threat was silence. Unlike a roaring big cat, a large eagle can approach with barely a whisper of air. They were ambush predators. An eagle would perch, motionless for hours, watching the group, waiting for a single moment of inattention. The attack would be over in seconds. A dive, a powerful impact, and the predator would be airborne again, its prey secured. The hominin group, panicked and confused, could do little more than scream and scatter into the dense undergrowth. We have physical evidence for this kind of predation, though from a later period. The famous Tongue child, a fossil skull of an Australopithecus africanus from about 2.8 million years ago, shows distinctive puncture marks. These marks on the skull's eye sockets are a near-perfect match for the talons of a large eagle. This fossil is a silent, chilling testament. It confirms that for millions of years, our ancestors were a regular food source for these massive birds. The fear in the jungle was not an abstract concept. It was a daily reality. The loss of a single individual, especially a juvenile, would have been a devastating blow to a small family group. This persistent, lethal threat from above had profound consequences. It acted as a powerful engine of natural selection. This raptor hypothesis suggests that this pressure helped shape some of the very traits that make us human. First, vision. Primates already have good eyesight, but a predator that can be anywhere in a 3-dimensional jungle canopy demands exceptional vision. Hominins with sharper, more discerning eyesight, able to detect the subtle outline of a camouflaged predator, were more likely to survive. They passed this trait on. Our excellent, full-color, forward-facing vision may have been honed in part by the need to scan the skies. Second, social cooperation. A single hominin was an easy target. A group was a much harder one. This danger would have heavily favored groups that communicated effectively. The development of specific alarm calls, one sound for a snake, another for a ground predator, and a critically important one for an aerial raptor, would have been a major advantage. This is the foundation of shared vigilance. It strengthened social bonds and demanded a new level of group coordination. Third, intelligence. Surviving this threat required a more complex brain. It required the ability to remember, to know that a certain part of the forest was a raptor's hunting ground. It required a theory of mind, the ability to understand that a juvenile might not see the danger and to act to protect it. The constant cognitive load of assessing a 3D threat environment may have been one of the first great sparks that pushed our lineage toward a larger, more complex brain. Our ancestors were being selected not just for strength, but for awareness, for their ability to see, to communicate, and to think as a group. The world of 5.4 million years ago is long gone. The specific species of eagles that hunted our ancestors are extinct. Our lineage survived, adapted, and eventually we became the planet's apex predator. But that ancient fear is not entirely gone. It is imprinted in our evolutionary memory. When you feel a sudden, instinctive chill as a shadow passes overhead, when you feel an innate caution in a quiet, open space, you may be feeling an echo, a whisper of a time when our ancestors were small, and the sky was the domain of the raptors.